Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking news on an extraordinary moment in history. Former President Donald Trump pleading not guilty to 34 felony charges inside of a Manhattan courtroom. Live pictures from New York City, where the former president is now headed to his private plane here at LaGuardia after being formally arrested and arraigned this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, and thanks so much for being here at 4. I'm Christy McDonald in for Karen Drew. For the very first time, we are getting a glimpse at what the indictment against the former president contains. Within the last 30 minutes, we saw the former president leave the courthouse, get into his motorcade and head for the airport. He is scheduled to speak tonight at Mar-a-Lago in Florida around 8:15. But it is what happened inside of the courtroom that is history making. And for that, Devin Scillian joining me now to help us go through all of the new developments as everything has really unfolded this afternoon.
It's been really dramatic to watch.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that, even though we knew a lot about how this was going to transpire. But taken together, the charges former President Trump faces carry a maximum possible sentence of 136 years in prison under New York law. An actual prison sentence, if convicted, would certainly be far less than that. But this indictment was released just moments ago. It is 16 pages long. The former president now facing 34, as Christy mentioned, felony counts of falsifying business records involving 3 different instances of hush money being paid while he was running for president in 2016. The payments went to 2 women who had alleged affairs with the former president, which he denies. We knew Stormy Daniels was going to be a part of this. We weren't sure if Karen McDougal, the former Playboy model, was going to be a part of it as well. She is. Around 1:30 this afternoon, looking rather somber, you would have to say. The former president said nothing. We weren't sure whether he would be making comments, but he walked past police and through a hallway in the courthouse before his arraignment proceeding. No video recording was allowed in the courtroom itself, though a handful of photographers were briefly permitted to take pictures.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were waiting for things. And usually when we are part of that, it happens in real time. But we had to wait about an hour. You're looking right now at live pictures of his jet at LaGuardia, ready to take off fairly soon to get on back to Florida. His attorneys spoke. They didn't have a lot to say, but the judge did talk to the former president in court about calming down the rhetoric on social media. And now, as a criminal defendant, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next.
Today's unsealing of this indictment shows that the rule of law died in this country, because while everyone is not above the law, no one's below it either. And if this man's name was not Donald J. Trump, there is no scenario we'd all be here today. Please understand that based on these charges.
Now, the prosecutor at today's arraignment did raise concerns, as Christy just mentioned, about the effect that the former president's threatening, as he put it, social media posts might have on jurors and witnesses in the lead up to his arrest. The former president is warned of, as he put it, potential death and destruction. We recall that on his Truth social media site. And he also posted a fake image that showed him swinging a baseball bat toward Bragg, the prosecutor. Now, ultimately, the judge said today that he would not issue a gag order to prevent Donald Trump or his attorneys from speaking publicly about the case, though he did urge caution and being careful to not keep ramping up the rhetoric. And the president's going to be making remarks tonight, and I guess that'll be the first big test of that.
It'll be very interesting to see how his PR teams work with his legal teams now, because this is an entirely different situation facing them. We are still waiting for the prosecutor to speak, and there is still a lot to come out of all of this. We will have updates at 5 o'clock.
And really important to still point out this, we've got a glimpse today of just how long a road is still ahead of us. The next hearing is scheduled for December 4th. And the request today was for a trial in January of 2024. So not only do we have a long time to wait on this, but keep in mind the president is still entangled in about 4 other legal cases. Those could all play out in the interim as well.
And he's running for president.
And he's running for president. So a long way to go.
All right. And to try to get a little bit more context to this in following that court appearance today, I'm joined now by former U.S. Attorney Matthew Schneider. Matthew, it's good to see you. And when you look at the indictments, really, what do you make sense out of, and how can we really understand what just came out within the last hour?
Interestingly, usually when you try to find out what's going on in an indictment, you look at the indictment. But in this particular case, the indictment is really fairly bare bones. It has a lot of legalese, and it has the charges that make out the elements and the offense. But what the attorney the district attorney actually did was file a separate document called the Statement of Facts. And that kind of puts the meat on the bones about what this is all about. And it talks about that there were payments made to Stormy Daniels, that the president knew that these were payments that had to be disguised. And that was all done falsely. And it was all a cover-up and calculated so that the public could never find out about it. And it was connected to his presidential campaign. Very similar to what we'd already been hearing in the media before.
Now, Matthew, we've talked about how we have to see this process play out. What do people need to understand about watching this happen? Devin talked about how, months from now, we're going to be starting to see that this is really the beginning of a marathon. What should people start to understand about the legal process and maybe step back from questioning as we do all watch this play out?
So one of the things that people will have to be thinking about is, even though they are watching things on TV, and you can watch this every day, you can sit in the courtroom virtually from your living room, you still won't actually have all the evidence in front of you, because if this case is going to trial, and President Trump will probably take it to trial, what happens in a trial where you actually get to see the witnesses testify, you get to see their facial expressions. You get to judge their credibility. You get to get up close and personal with them and watch their eye contact. And you can tell whether or not, for example, I've seen defendants who cry on the witness stand and they really don't have tears. And that's an indicator. Juries can see that. So one of the things that we have to consider always when we're watching these from the TV screens is, no matter what we're seeing on TV, isn't always the same thing that we're actually going to be seeing in the courtroom. So we have to keep that in mind as well.
All right, Matthew Schneider, former U.S. attorney here in the Eastern District, was appointed by President Donald Trump. Thanks so much for the context. We'll be checking in with you as this process moves along.
Thank you.
All right, and we are continuing to gather reaction to this locally and from Washington. We will have complete coverage coming up throughout this newscast and, of course, on Local 4 News at 5 and 6. We are following more breaking news from here at home. Sources are telling us a 65-year-old woman was sexually assaulted at a bus stop on Detroit's west side. It happened at Grand River and Ferguson yesterday. We're told the DNA matches that of the suspect in the rape of an 80-year-old woman who was assaulted in a home on Memorial near the Southfield Freeway late last month. Police released a sketch of the person that they are looking for in that crime last week. Detroit police are holding a news conference right now, and as we look live at Detroit Police headquarters, we will bring you an update when we get one from that press conference. Very busy news day because our other top story is your forewarned weather. All of Metro Detroit is now under an increasing threat for severe weather coming up tomorrow. Kim Adams is here with new information on what we can expect. Kim.
Well, Christy, it's rare that we're under this threat level at all, let alone this early in the season. But here's where we are right now. If you look at the legend over here, it goes from marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate to high. So marginal being the lowest threat level, high obviously the highest. We are now up to an enhanced level. So that is the third level there as we expect quite a bit of severe weather tomorrow. Now, this could also be a bust depending on what happens tomorrow morning and how many thunderstorms we get in the morning. But as of right now, it does look like we will have very strong to severe thunderstorms in the afternoon with wind, hail, flooding, and the possibility of tornadoes as well. And in fact, perhaps even EF2 tornadoes or higher. So those are the threat levels with high winds. Also, golf ball size hail. That's 1.5 to 2 inch hail. That is big enough to do quite a bit of damage, especially to your cars. Right now, though, it's a pretty pleasant afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. Dry temperatures are in the 50s, but we do expect a couple of thunderstorms even later on this evening. And I'll talk more about that coming up in the forecast. You can see the showers and storms just now crossing Lake Michigan. If you want to stay up to date on the latest watches and warnings, this is a great time to download the Forewarned Weather app. Just go to your favorite app store and type in WDIV.
All right, thanks so much, Kim. We'll see you in a bit. A deputy is stabbed and a suspect shot in Ferndale today. Police say Wayne County Sheriff's deputies were looking for a 25-year-old man who cut off his tether. They say the man barricaded himself in a room in a home on Webster. It's not too far from 8 Mile and Woodward. We're told the man had 2 knives and stabbed a deputy in the leg. Deputies then shot the man. Another deputy suffered a hand injury. Both were taken to the hospital. The suspect is in critical condition. A 2-year legal battle ended today in a chaotic scene outside of a Detroit tiny home. The tenant and her belongings forcibly removed by bailiffs. Today, volunteers and community activists came to blows with law enforcement over the issue. Tara Brown, who is suffering from stage 5 kidney failure, is the woman who lives inside. She is being kicked out for violating the terms of the tiny home program. That program is run by Cass Community Social Services. It's an accusation that she denies. We spoke with Brown within the last hour, who says she will be moved out as soon as possible. General Motors says enough workers took the company's buyout offers that it won't have to lay off workers right now. Last month, the company offered buyouts to white-collar workers with at least 5 years of experience, and now says 5,000 workers accepted that deal. The automaker says that will save about $1 billion per year in costs. GM is hoping to cut another $1 billion per year by the end of 2024. People who took buyouts must leave by June 30.